welcome into another edition of Unlocked with Fox's Brock Huard. I am Lance Taylor from The Next Round. This is on Disrupt the Media. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It is always brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Use that code NEXTROUND. Get that first deposit bonus, mybookie.ag. So we start NFL, big game Saturday, and it seems like two teams going in different directions. Denver heads into Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions look like one of the best teams in the NFL. They have now lost 2 of 3. Denver gets walked off the field, giving up 70 to Miami earlier this year. And I was one of those guys. I was like, look, I think Sean Payton is an overrated coach. I think he had a great quarterback. I thought it was a nice system. All of that. They got one championship, and I know championships are tough. Yep. But I was one of those. I don't know if he's an elite coach. And now the way they've turned this corner, because you've been in those locker rooms before, when you start losing like that and it seems hopeless, and they were 1-5. I mean, you are dead and gone at 1-5.
Yep.
And to be able to pivot and be in the position they are right now to make a postseason run, it's pretty incredible.
It is. It's pretty darn extraordinary. And living in the Rocky Mountains, Lance, and listening to it, one thing people don't know enough of is, Philly's a brutal market. Boston's a brutal market. New York's a brutal market, right? Detroit, Chicago, they're hard markets. But when it comes to the number of media members that cover their NFL team, I want to say Denver's second in the league. They are watched. They are beloved. They had been hugely successful for a long time under Pat Bowlen. They were like a ratings bonanza. They were the team that you wanted to get on, that the networks fought to put on with Elway and then Manning, and like the brand was so freaking strong. And to see it, just over the last 5, 6, 7 years start to crumble, well, you see why this ownership group said, nope, we got to have somebody, we got to bring somebody in, a big boy that's done this before. Yeah, and you may critique it, and you may say some of it was dirty, and certainly the league wasn't real happy with Bountygate, and Sean has got his critics and everything else, but you can't deny that the guy knows how to coach, that he learned under Parcells, that he's brought just a firm, stern, professional hand to say enough of this nonsense. Everything that went on the year before with Russ, in the ridiculousness and the entourage in his own office, and Sierra in the building, and just just wackadoodle stuff. He just cut it out at the knees. Said, nope, absolutely not. And Russell, you're going to throw it 25 times, and you're going to run, and you're going to get back to being the Russell you were in Seattle, because your image and your Hall of Fame track was totally tarnished last year. And we're going to get back to doing it the way that we have to do it. And that's run the ball, play great defense. And that, to me, has been, Lance, the biggest thing. Like, they got rid of Randy Gregory. They got rid of Frank Clark. They gave up 70 points. Like, you thought this thing was just done. They were all calling for Vance Joseph's head in this town. All wanted him fired. Had already fired him as a head coach in a previous stint here in Denver, and they were done with him. And to see the job that he has done, and then Sean playing complimentary to it, and Russell buying in, it's been a powerful trifecta for them to turn it around.
Hey, I'm going to be a doubter, I guess, this entire segment, because on the other side, coming into the season, maybe the most hyped team, the sexy, trendy team, was the Detroit Lions. Yep. And, boy, they jumped out of the gate. And outside of that loss in Detroit to Seattle against what we thought at that time was a really good team, Detroit started cruising. But, again, they've lost 2 of 3 right now. Their quarterback situation, Jared Goff was playing with a ton of confidence. And, I go back being a Rams guy to that deal with Matt Stafford and Jared Goff. It's one of the few that works out for both organizations.
Yep.
And I don't know where Jared Goff is right now, but why do you think this team has ticked down a little bit and they look kind of average right now?
Yeah, defensively, they got some real limitations still. And offensively, they're turning the ball over. So you're not playing that complementary ball, right? And I think offensively, this is a team that's loaded. I absolutely love their offensive line. I think they can dominate at the line of scrimmage. And when you've got that group, and that's what I think before the season I was most excited about, is here's a team with a head coach that isn't just about fire and brimstone and, just eating people's, kneecaps. Like he walks it, and he's built the team accordingly. Some freaky edge rushers, powerful offensive line. Yes, great weaponry, but that's where the team was going to start. And I think they're still very good there. But some of the limitations defensively on the back end, they've been exposed in that way. And I don't diminish, even though it's big boy professional football, I don't diminish, Lance, the fact that they've not been here before. That matters, right? Established cultures and places like New England and Pittsburgh and Pete for so many years in Seattle. Like, this is just the standard. This is what we do. And, this is the way that we play. And it's not one game. And I was listening to Jared Goff this week talk about that because he did in LA, all the way to a Super Bowl and understood, to a Super Bowl appearance, didn't ultimately win it, but understood what it took to get to that end of that marathon. And that was, the standard. What's Detroit been, Lance? I mean, where have they been? When was the last time they walked with this expectation?
They won one postseason game, I think, in 1990 or 91. That was their only postseason win in like 60 years, something
and
insane.
You could say,
like
that doesn't matter. That's just the outside. That's just the Lance and the Brocks and the Unlocked and the My Bookies making all this outside noise. No, it matters when this group has never done it before. When you're going to uncharted waters, right? When you're taking on new territory, when you're living with this expectation and now this target, like you're out front, you're not just you see this all the time. And it was my concern with Geno Smith, and it's lived out a little bit this year. It's easy to be the backup. It's so much easier to come and be the underdog. It is so much easier to write that script, right? To prove the haters wrong. Well, now you're out front. Now what? Now you're out front, Detroit. Now you're one of the best teams. Now you're going to win, it looks like, this NFC North. Can you go close the deal? Can you go finish? Can you live in a world of expectations? I think those things are real, and that's some of the hurdle as well. And just psychologically and emotionally and just culturally as a team, that they're fighting on top of some of the limitations they do have defensively.
He is Fox's Brock Huard. This is Unlocked on Disrupt the Media. I'm Lance Taylor from the Next Round. Make sure you like, subscribe, give us that thumbs up. Okay, so which one of these teams do you trust more rolling into January, Denver or Detroit?
I think Detroit, just because of that offensive line. I love those guys. I've always been a guy, and this is probably born in 1996 when I played behind one of the best offensive lines in college football. And there was big old Bob Sapp, big old Benji Olsen, and big old badass Olin Kreutz. And I got to feel them just dominate people and humiliate people and break another team's will. I got to watch, the 91 team in Seattle do it. I got to watch the Seattle Seahawks up close and personal, right? When I was there with Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson, saw them go to a Super Bowl in 05. And then ultimately what Pete built is the big bully in 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 in Seattle. And when you got those guys and that permeates and that's your identity, I like those teams in January. It's what Philadelphia did a season ago. It's certainly what San Francisco has done over the last few years as well. Give me those line of scrimmage teams in January.
It's Unlocked with Fox's Brock Huard, brought to you by mybookie.ag.